Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. Alright, so I am in a different location now. I hope the audio is good. For once, I'm able to wear my glasses. Anyway, Africa. Africa is on the rise. Let's just be clear about that. With their negotiations with Russia and China and increasing their presence within the BRICS alliance, which these are all very important things. They're standing their ground a lot more, and recently Niger and Burkina Faso have ejected the French overseers, neo-colonizers, and both countries have suspended all export of uranium to France, which is a big thing. The uranium industry in these countries is actually owned by French companies, so France is not particularly happy right now. So France is talking about staging some intervention. France is in. Look at the condition France is in right now. Are they going to be able to do this by themselves? No. They're imposing sanctions, but these countries have declared that they state that they're not worried about this because they've been living in poverty and oppression for centuries now. So whatever you're gonna try and throw at them is basically no worse than what they've been going through. ECOWAS, that is the the Economic Community of West African States, led by Nigeria, and now Niger, Nigeria are two different African nations, but so ECOWAS recently stated that they would invade Niger if Niger actually held a coup and overthrew the president of Niger. They stated that he is just a puppet of the West. He had, when he was elected, he promised that he would end terrorism, and instead he aligned themselves with the terrorists. These are the allegations that were a basis of the coup. The person that is the head of this coup was the presidential assistant for years before this happened, so he knows extremely well exactly what the president has been doing during all of this time. So they had declared, ECOWAS had declared that they would invade Niger if they did not restore this president by this past Sunday. Well, it's now Wednesday and there's been no invasion. The problems with this invasion have been that on their announcement they thought that they would have complete agreement from all of the ECOWAS states, and that is turning out not to be the case. Mali and Burkina Faso have stated that if ECOWAS invades Niger, that they will consider this a declaration of war against all three of them. In addition, they thought that they would have assistance, compliance, from Algeria, and Algeria said, no, we're not going to have any part of this. We're not going to allow offensive troops and forces to cross our territory, so just keep us out of it. We don't want any part of it. We don't want to be at war. Anyway, the whole thing is that within ECOWAS, many people, many nations are not keen on the idea of a trans-African war that involves multiple states, millions, tens of millions of people, and the destruction of their economies. Instead, what should be happening, and what some sources are encouraging, are diplomatic relations with the military government regime that has taken control. Now, they have stated that they plan to hold new elections, but without the influence of France and the West, and control by outside forces. So they have stated that they want to redirect resources to help the people of Niger. So this is a very big thing. Africa is fighting back at the UN and all these other organizations for the right to develop their own infrastructure, their own energy systems, which are being held down by Western standards. They want Africa to only invest in green energy, and this is being forced on them by other countries that are buying coal and oil from Africa to burn. But they don't want Africa to develop their own economies, multiple, using those exact same resources. And Africa's just not interested in listening anymore. And you can't blame them. They have been held down, oppressed, colonized, enslaved, from literal slavery and colonization to neo-colonization by economic suppression, the limitations placed on them for their infrastructure development, their economic development, everything. They export goods and at one price, and then have to import goods at a much higher price. So how long would any country, any nation put up with this? For generations they have not had any choice, but now they do have a choice, and they're taking that choice. So I expect to see a lot of changes happening in Africa. I think ECOWAS is nothing but a puppet of France and the West, and there are probably going to be new organizations forming, or a radical change in the structure of ECOWAS. So, this is big news, and hopefully it's going to turn out well. There will not be any warfare. They overcome any sanctions that are placed on them, and who's going to get hurt by these sanctions? Who's most of the time a country that imposes sanctions on another country winds up getting hurt more by the sanctions, because now you've lost trading partners. So we see this over and over, and sanctions never work. Cuba has been under sanctions since the 1960s. North Korea has been under sanctions since the 1950s. Look at what has happened with the sanctions against Russia and China and Venezuela. None of it works. Sanctions do not work. All they do is drive up prices, cause inflation in the imposing countries and other countries, and you never, I left out Iran and Palestine, all these countries that are under U.S. sanctions, and how well does it work? It doesn't, period. It's time to stop trying that. Alright, share this video, talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this channel and my presidential campaign, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a good day.